Welcome back to our channel, your premier destination for all the most scandalous, heartbreaking, and thrilling updates from the world of daytime television. Today is a spectacular day to dive deep into the treacherous, sun-drenched waters of Los Angeles fashion, where loyalty is merely an illusion and power is the ultimate currency. Let us unpack the explosive new developments that are currently tearing two legendary families apart and setting the stage for an unprecedented corporate war. The glamorous streets of Los Angeles are currently serving as the battleground for one of the most vicious, high-stakes corporate conflicts in the illustrious history of the bold and the beautiful. The battle lines have been irrevocably drawn between the formidable, ever-expanding Spencer-Logan alliance and the deeply entrenched, historical legacy of Forrester Creations. At the absolute epicenter of this catastrophic clash is not just a disagreement over fabric swatches or runway models, but a tangible, glittering symbol of absolute power, legacy, and ultimate triumph. The legendary hope for the future diamond. This is no longer merely a business rivalry. This is a deeply personal, multi-million-dollar vendetta that threatens to leave both iconic fashion houses in absolute, smoldering ruins. The atmosphere is thick with betrayal, and the air crackles with the kind of dramatic tension that only a Spencer-Forrester feud can generate. The catalyst for this unprecedented explosion of corporate warfare was the highly anticipated return of Wyatt Spencer to the Los Angeles canvas. Summoned by his father, the eternally ruthless and calculating Bill Spencer, Wyatt was tasked with executing a masterstroke that would cripple Forrester Creations and elevate the newly minted Logan brand to godlike status in the global fashion industry. Wyatt, utilizing his sharp business acumen and perhaps a touch of the signature Spencer moral flexibility, successfully acquired and delivered the legendary hope for the future diamond directly into Bill's eager, waiting hands. The handover of this breathtaking, priceless gemstone was not just a simple business transaction. It was a definitive declaration of war. Bill Spencer's eyes gleamed with predatory triumph as he held the diamond, envisioning a massive, unprecedented public relations campaign designed to launch Katie Logan, Spencer's new fashion house, into the stratosphere, utterly eclipsing the Forrester legacy in the process. For Bill Spencer, the acquisition of the diamond represents the glorious culmination of a lifelong dream, the absolute subjugation of the Forrester family and the unification of his sons under one invincible corporate roof. Liam Spencer, entirely swept up in the intoxicating momentum of his father's grand vision, has been relentlessly pressuring Wyatt to accept a permanent executive position at the Logan brand. The psychological dynamic between the Spencer men is fascinating and terrifying to witness. Liam is aggressively championing family unity, arguing that with Spencer already defecting from Forrester to join their ranks, the Spencer Trinity must stand together to dominate the industry. Wyatt, however, remains acutely aware of the toxic, manipulative history of his father's empire. Yet, the allure of the diamond and the sheer magnificent scale of the PR stunt Bill is orchestrating are undeniably intoxicating, pulling Wyatt deeper into the treacherous quicksand of the family business. However, anyone who genuinely believed that the Forrester family would simply roll over and accept this humiliating, devastating defeat clearly underestimates the ferocious pride of Eric Forrester and his fiercely protective granddaughter, Steffy Forrester Finnegan. The moment the news of the Logan brand's possession of the hope for the future diamond reached the executive suites of Forrester Creations, the reaction was instantaneous, visceral, and explosive. Steffy, whose resentment toward the Logans has reached an absolute boiling point after Hope's secret defection, immediately mobilized the company's formidable legal team. Alongside a heartbroken but deeply infuriated Eric Forrester, Steffy filed a massive, multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the Spencer-Logan alliance. The lawsuit is a masterclass in legal aggression, formally accusing the Spencers of the illegal and malicious appropriation of Forrester Creations' intellectual and physical property. Steffy Forrester Finnegan's fury is a force of nature. She views the Spencer-Logan acquisition of the diamond not just as a slick business maneuver, but as a deeply personal violation, a vile desecration of the Forrester name and everything her family has built. For Eric Forrester, the patriarch whose very lifeblood is woven into the fabric of the company, the theft of his physical and intellectual property by Katie, a woman he once mentored, supported, and loved, is a profound, agonizing heartbreak. Eric's righteous indignation fuels the legal fire, transforming the lawsuit from a mere corporate dispute into a relentless crusade for justice and legacy preservation. The legal documents filed are dripping with accusations of corporate espionage, malicious intent, and gross violations of intellectual property rights, demanding astronomical financial damages that could bankrupt the Logan brand entirely before it even truly begins. This legal retaliation is not merely a slap on the wrist. It is a tactical nuclear strike designed to obliterate the Logan brand. The lawsuit alleges that the hope for the future diamond, inextricably linked to the Forrester brand's history and the specific fashion line created under their roof, was unlawfully seized to promote a rival entity. The sheer magnitude of this legal war has sent massive shockwaves throughout the global fashion industry. Injunctions have been filed, corporate assets are being intensely scrutinized, and the once glamorous world of haute couture has been reduced to endless legal depositions, vicious courtroom posturing, and bitter public statements. The immediate and devastating consequence of this multi-million-dollar legal battle is the complete and utter paralysis of both prestigious fashion houses. Operations at both Forrester Creations and the Logan brand have ground to a terrifying, agonizing halt. At Forrester, the creative energy has been entirely hijacked by the desperate need to navigate the legal labyrinth, leaving Steffy and Ridge Forrester trapped in endless, exhausting meetings with attorneys rather than focusing on their highly anticipated couture line. Over at the Logan brand, the celebratory champagne has quickly turned to bitter ash. Katie Logan Spencer, who had just experienced the intoxicating high of a globally successful debut collection broadcast on billboards worldwide, now finds her entire enterprise suffocated by the looming threat of absolute financial ruin. The massive PR campaign centered around the diamond has been frozen by legal injunctions, leaving Bill Spencer pacing his office like a caged, furious lion. The corporate gridlock is absolute, creating an atmosphere of suffocating paranoia and paralyzing fear. Just when it seemed the situation could not possibly become any more volatile or destructive, an unthinkable twist of fate shatters the fragile, tense stalemate. Amidst the chaotic whirlwind of legal threats and corporate espionage, the absolute worst-case scenario materializes into reality. The legendary hope for the future diamond, the very catalyst for this entire catastrophic war, the priceless jewel secured within the supposedly impenetrable, state-of-the-art safe at the Logan headquarters, suddenly and mysteriously vanishes without a single trace. The discovery of the empty safe sends a chilling, terrifying shockwave through the Logan camp. It is a moment of pure, unadulterated panic that transcends the legal battle and plunges the entire narrative into a dark, thrilling mystery. The immediate aftermath of the diamond's disappearance is a masterclass in suspense, suspicion, and overwhelming paranoia. Bill Spencer's rage is volcanic. His ultimate weapon, his crown jewel, has been snatched right out from under him in his own domain. He immediately locks down the building, initiating a ruthless, frantic internal investigation led by his security teams. Katie is left trembling, realizing that the loss of the diamond not only ruins their massive PR campaign, but leaves them incredibly vulnerable in the ongoing lawsuit, as they can no longer produce the very asset they are accused of stealing. Liam and Wyatt are left scrambling, questioning every security protocol and looking at every single employee with intense, newfound suspicion. The horrifying realization that there is a highly skilled thief, or worse, a traitor, walking among them creates a toxic, unbreathable environment of fear and mistrust. In the desperate, frantic search for a culprit, human nature often demands an immediate scapegoat, and all suspicion almost instantaneously zeroes in on the most vulnerable target in the building, Deke Sharp. Deke's position within the Logan brand is incredibly precarious and fragile. He was brought in secretly by Hope Logan Spencer, defecting from Forrester Creations under a massive cloud of controversy. As the new lead designer, Deke has been under an unimaginable, crushing amount of pressure to deliver a collection that can rival Forrester's legacy. However, as recent events have revealed, Deke has been profoundly struggling. He recently faced a devastating, humiliating rejection from the returning French celebrity, Fanny Grayson, who was thoroughly unimpressed with his preliminary designs and refused to endorse the line. To truly comprehend why Deke Sharp is so easily cast as the villain in this unfolding tragedy, one must intimately understand the profound psychological torment he is currently enduring. Deke is a man standing on the terrifying precipice of professional oblivion. He views the lead designer position at the Logan brand not just as a job, but as his absolute, final chance for redemption in a cutthroat industry that had previously discarded him. Hope Logan Spencer took a monumental, career-defining risk by bringing him into the fold, and Deke feels the crushing, suffocating weight of that expectation every single day. His recent failure to impress Fanny Grayson has shattered his fragile confidence. He is terrified, feeling deeply inadequate and desperate to validate Hope's unwavering faith in him. This palpable, sweaty desperation is tragically and fatally misinterpreted by Bill Spencer's ruthless security apparatus as the definitive motive for a high-stakes, multi-million-dollar theft. The accusations against Deke escalate with terrifying speed and brutality. Bill Spencer, a man who views the world entirely in terms of assets and liabilities, quickly categorizes Deke as a massive liability. He needs someone to blame to regain a sense of control over his spiraling empire, and Deke's troubled past and current professional struggles make him the perfect, convenient target. Meanwhile, over at Forrester Creations, Steffy seizes upon the breaking news of the missing diamond and Deke's suspected involvement with vindictive, triumphant glee. She utilizes this catastrophe to publicly paint the Logan brand as a chaotic den of thieves, liars, and desperate criminals, further fueling the narrative of their multi-million-dollar lawsuit and destroying Katie's reputation. Deke finds himself completely isolated, screaming his innocence into a cold void of corporate paranoia. Caught squarely in the agonizing, heart-wrenching middle of this nightmare is Hope Logan Spencer. Hope is the one who vouched for Deke. She is the one who brought him into the Logan fold, promising him a creative sanctuary away from Steffy's relentless condescension. Now, Hope faces an impossible, soul-crushing dilemma. Does she stand by Deke, fiercely defending his innocence and risking her own fragile standing within the newly formed Spencer-Logan alliance? Or does the overwhelming circumstantial evidence, combined with Deke's recent erratic behavior and undeniable desperation, plant a toxic, unforgiving seed of doubt in her own mind? Hope's internal conflict is profound, as she realizes that if Deke is truly guilty of this monumental theft, her entire defection to the Logan brand was built on a disastrous foundation of lies and betrayal. Yet, as Deke is mercilessly interrogated and ostracized by the Spencer family, the true mystery remains unsolved, pulsating with dark potential. Who actually breached the Logan safe? The list of potential suspects is as long as it is incredibly dangerous. Could it be Remy Price? Remy has been secretly lurking around the Logan offices, having already discovered Deke's sketches and whereabouts. Remy's dark, manipulative alliance with Sheila Carter and his obsessive, terrifying desire to control Deke make him a highly viable suspect. A stolen, priceless diamond could be the ultimate blackmail tool to force Deke into submission. Or perhaps the culprit is Shauna Fulton, who recently made a chaotic, shocking return to Los Angeles. Could Shauna, acting on secret, rogue orders from a conflicted Wyatt, or operating on her own audacious, greedy agenda, have orchestrated the heist to secure her own position of absolute power? The disappearance of the hope for the future diamond has transformed a bitter corporate rivalry into a high-stakes, breathless thriller. Both Forrester Creations and the Logan brand remain utterly paralyzed, their brilliant designers and powerful executives reduced to helpless pawns in a terrifying game of theft and legal warfare. The multi-million-dollar lawsuit hangs over their heads like a sharpened guillotine, while the missing diamond acts as a ticking time bomb that threatens to destroy lives, careers, and historical legacies. Deke Sharp, an innocent man desperately trying to sketch his way to salvation, finds himself locked in a living nightmare, serving as the tragic scapegoat for a master manipulator who is currently watching the beautiful chaos unfold from the shadows. As the dust refuses to settle over the sun-drenched, treacherous streets of Los Angeles, the stakes have never been more monumental. The global fashion world watches in stunned, breathless silence as these two legendary empires consume themselves in a spectacular firestorm of litigation, betrayal, and grand larceny. The absolute truth behind the missing diamond remains shrouded in darkness, but one thing is absolutely certain. The battle for the soul of the Los Angeles fashion industry has crossed a dangerous, irrevocable line, and the collateral damage will be devastating for everyone involved.